got you feeling right. Kick drum like a shotgun ripping through the night, raising hell and Dixie cups all night long. It's all about the sweat-soaked t-shirts, partying until it hurts, leaning on the backbeat, screaming every single word. Nothing like getting high on a country song. Oh, there's nothing like getting high on a country song. On a country song.
Wow. All right, guys. This is the dash. Redid it because I wanted to make sure that all this was all the exact same. So all this is laid out leveled. We had to add these. These gauges are different sizes. Hold on, let me turn this radio. These two gauges are 3.25, I think they are. These two are 3.25, speedometer, tachometer. I'm adding a speedometer that's the same as the rest of my gauges. That's going to be it. So we've got to add that one. I put that one where the pyrometer is or was. But I'm going to add a 2 1/8 inch pyrometer up here. These gauges are 2 5/8. This was oil pressure and water temp. So I've got little rings that scale that down, but I'm going to cover this whole thing because before when I had this, it had this black ring showing. I didn't like that. So this should make it all smooth. Going to bring you guys along for the ride so that you can see what we're doing here. This is how I covered this dash before, but I didn't show that on film, so we're going to do that. Excuse all the other stuff. This is my work area. Like I said, this is just the silver turn. That's just the same stuff that I've got on the rest of the dash. Looks like the old Firebird dash. Okay, that looks like it's going to fit good. Let me go grab some stuff. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Alcohol. And I always just use alcohol on this stuff because it evaporates really quick. Get it all clean. Make sure there's no high spots. There's a little bit of sticker residue left from the last time. So I want to make sure I get that all done. That should be it for that. got a little bit of, I put a little bit of caulking across there to fill in these cracks, and that is not totally cured, but I want that all out of there, and that's what I'm feeling right there. So I'm just trying to get that last little bit of that off of there. Make sure there's none of that ridge or anything in our vinyl. And I could have made this easier. These are actually made to mount on this side and be exposed, but I didn't want that big huge black ring up here. I just don't like that. Want everything to be kind of the same here, so. All right, that looks pretty good now. Just a little bit more right there. Most of the time I'll take this, when I'm doing this vinyl like this, I'll take and I'll tape it on one side or the other or something like that, just to make sure that it stays really true, but no bigger piece than what this is and no more than what I have to worry about. I think we'll be fine here. This stuff really sticks really, really well. Just flip it over, line it up kind of where I wanted it to be, and I'll stick the far end down, even if it's on the table over here, and I just start working it back and forth. Making sure there's no bubbles or wrinkles or anything else. When you're doing this, the biggest thing that you got to pay attention to is not to push down too far in between the gauges into the holes, because it'll make a wrinkle. So, just keep a nice steady pressure going on that. And then just keep working. That went down a little too fast, but no problem. try to stay out of you guys' way here. Just keep working it, keep working it. All the way to the end. Now this stuff lays down really, really, really well. It's thick enough that if there's little small tiny imperfections on there, I tried this with wood grain and I didn't like the wood grain because it was too thin and any little teeny bubble or anything else you could see. You can't see any tiny imperfections in this. That's how it looks on the back side. Let's take and smash that down. I've got these work mats on here, so I just take and smash down. Then I'll take a X-Acto knife and I'll circle every one of these. Now, if anybody else is doing this on a regular 2 1/8 inch gauge, it's completely round all the way around there. And these do not have the same as the Peterbilt. The Peterbilt has a little tab on each side that slides into these little notches. Not sure if you guys can see this, but there's some notches on each one of these 2 1/8 gauge. When you're X-Acto knifing that, you need to stay and not go into that indentation. You need to just stay with the roundness of the 2 1/8. That way there's not, these actually do cover it up, but if you look real close, you can see a little tiny gap right there from the side. That's just being anal and very picky on that. And so I just trace right along with the circle instead of trying to cut into those edges. That way there's no chance of that being seen on the edge of these gauges. So anyway, I'm going to X-Acto knife around this, take an X-Acto knife, and all I do is I run up on the side of it and just follow all the way around. I'm going to do a little bit of that and then I'll cut back to you guys. Alright, maybe this will give you a little bit better shot of it. All I do is I drag this knife in here. Usually I'll start in the middle, but just keep that knife edged right on that edge and just drag it with it pushing into it just a little bit. You want to just kind of keep it pushed in there. Now when this starts gathering up sometimes, if you don't keep it pulled tight, so the best thing is just to grab hold of the end of it and then just trace right around the edge. Remember to keep that knife tilted in just a little bit at the edge. Right here you can see how I can scrape along there and see how it came up with a little swirl. That's not much, but anything that sticks out from the edge can hook on something and start trying to peel it. Grab a hold of it. If I can get my hands out of the way. Keep it twisted just a little bit. Follow it all the way around. One more spot. Now I started on the end the last time. How I normally do this, how I did this other, is come in here and cut this and then just follow it down. Let it get up against there. Follow right along. Now, I'll see if you can see this way. It's hard to start on the edge because if you push on that, it can peel that corner. So the best thing is always bring your knife up when you're cutting that vinyl. That way it doesn't push down and pull it away. Just come up a little bit. Once you get started, it'll slide right along. Hopefully that come out good. Right here, if I want to clean that up, just come down through there. And that's the extra that came off. You'll go through a couple of blades doing this, but it's sure worth it. Alright, I'm going to cut a couple circles out and I'll get back with you guys. Okay guys, we're back. This is how we're starting. This is the original. It's the only two original gauges that'll stay in it. The original speedo and the original tack. I don't want to get rid of them, so we'll put blue LEDs behind them, and I'll get them to match as much as I possibly can. I just don't want to get rid of these because I don't want to go through all the trouble of having to change these over to electronic and all that. So this will still run mechanical, both of these. This one is a new speedo, and it is actually going to run off of GPS. So we'll see how close these run together, but namely I didn't want to get rid of the odometer. That's the original miles. See if you guys can see that or not. It's just 230,000 miles, and RPMs are 40,000 hours. So I just wanted to keep that so we had it the same and it stayed with the truck and it continued to keep going. So I'll kind of show you some of the gauge stuff as I do right here. So here we go.
When you feel your heart is breaking, just hold on tight to your dream. Oh, it's a long time to be gone. Time just rolls on and on. When you need a shoulder to cry, when you feel so sick of trying, just hold on tight to your dream. When you get so down that you can't get up, and you want so much but you're out of luck, when you're so downhearted and misunderstood, just over and over and over you could. Yeah, accrochez-toi à ton rêve. Accrochez-toi à ton rêve. Quand tu vois ton bateau partir, quand tu sens ton cœur s'épuiser, accrochez-toi à ton rêve. When you get so down that you can't get up, and you want so much but you're all out of luck, when you're so downhearted and misunderstood, just over and over and over you could. Yeah, yeah. Hold on tight to your dream. Yeah. Hold
go. Missing 3 gauges. If you guys are anything like me, you know how expensive this is. Got one more pyrometer. This will be the oil pressure. That'll just be a, I think I'm going to put a voltmeter there instead of a clock. Either a clock or a voltmeter. So, I'll finish it up.